ask is a couple questions to our other guest. Carol, can you tell me, is this a common practice in the Forestry Service to spray these chemicals? And do you have an idea of the scope and how long it's been going on?
It's been going on at least since the 1970s, even earlier than that, but the heavy use of it started during the 1970s, and it was primarily when they banned Agent Orange in Vietnam. The military had been using the entire nation's supply of those two chemicals, 2,4-D and 2,4,5-T, and of course, the manufacturers needed a place to sell them. The military wasn't buying them anymore. So suddenly, herbicides became this great tool of forestry. And they were promoted really, really heavily in forestry, in roadside management. Unbelievable. I mean, they really, really pushed them. They started putting them in these weed and feed formulations that people could spray on their lawn to get rid of dandelions, as if there's something wrong with dandelions. And anyway, that's when the heavy use of it began in forestry. And in the early days, Darryl's experience would have gone on a daily basis. They were incredibly reckless. They sprayed in any weather.
How was it received? How was it received? Were people upset about it? Were they glad the spraying was going on?
Many of them didn't know. And when we first became aware of it, I don't want to take away from Darryl here, but just that a lot of the, especially older people, thought, oh, they're spraying for mosquitoes, or no one knew what they were spraying, and nobody thought to ask.
Nobody thought to ask. Yeah, and when you did, you would be calling the EPA. And we have on audio, we have Evan Vallianatos. Did I say that right?
Yeah, that's true. Vallianatos, or Evan, as you put it.
Evan, you worked at the EPA. What was your role at the EPA, and how long were you there?
First of all, I was there for 25 years, and what they call program analyst. That is, I was a generalist. That means I was dealing with scientists and helping scientists and doing the kind of analysis and of the evidence that the scientists themselves needed to do what they did. So in 25 years, I came to know a lot of scientists, and of course they knew me, and we share stories about the effectiveness of what the EPA was supposed to be doing. And remember, the law says that all these chemicals that get approved, they are not supposed to cause adverse effects on man and the environment. That's how the law says it does. And but I began to understand that that was really the case at all, because we had, that is, the EPA had approved things like neurotoxins, nerve poisons that are related directly to World War II chemical warfare, more or less. I mean, the Allies and the Germans didn't fight the chemical warfare, but they had the tools, they had the weapons already developed. And because they didn't fight the war, they passed all these tremendous amounts of neurotoxins to agriculture. And 1945, and the stuff became so popular, so that by the time I got to EPA, for instance, you had parathion, malathion sprayed all over, malathion for mosquitoes and so on. And in my own investigations and training within EPA and reading all these hundreds of memoranda and briefings and so on, I got very upset. I mean, and I began to write memoranda to my superior saying, hey, this is chemical warfare. What are we doing with this stuff? Why do we allow parathion to be sprayed over human beings? And I knew that one drop of parathion, for instance, would be suffice to kill a human being 160 pounds. So it wasn't a secret. I mean, the stuff should never have been approved, because it just, in a civilized society, you don't endanger the health of your fellow human beings in order for some companies to make money.